The boss of the BBC has apologised over the complaints of abusive behaviour towards contestants on the show. Tim Davies said he was disappointed to hear that several celebrities had made allegations about how their dance partners had treated them in rehearsals. He also said unacceptable behaviour wouldn't be tolerated, but he did confirm the show would return for another season.
Of course, alongside the fun and entertainment, there will be a degree of competitiveness, hard work and a will to do well. That's part of what makes this show. But there are limits and the line should never be crossed. We will never tolerate unacceptable behaviour of any kind. Meanwhile, we do have a brilliant lineup for this year who I'm sure are itching to get going. And you'll hear more about this in the coming weeks.
OK, well, actually, funnily enough, there was a photo of the pros rehearsing, which you can see here. So it's like a social media thing. And it was put, I just saw it on my socials, and it's been in the papers and everything. But you can see here, I don't know what it's like for them to be in this strange situation, because obviously Strictly is all about the smiles and the joy and the fun. But even here, you've got a row between Nadia Bishkova, who's an incredibly brilliant dancer, and her ex-partner, Kai Widrington. So there's two pros who seem to be involved in some sort of falling out here. And the show doesn't either. Ali Ash, who's brilliant, is back as a pro dancer, basically replacing Giovanni, who's gone. Graziano apparently has gone back to Sicily. Karen Howe, I danced with her. She's absolutely fantastic, and she was an amazing teacher. Lots of them are completely unscathed by the scandal. But you just think it's asking quite a lot of them for them to be doing that thing when there's just such a shadow over the show. So the BBC has announced new measures, including chaperones in rehearsals and better training. But I wonder if this has just put you off watching Narinder.
Well, you've done it. I mean, what do you think?
I don't think
it puts me off.
The tension seems to be between fun Strictly and winning Strictly, the competition end of Strictly. Now, I went on it just because it was going to be fun. I really had the best time.
Did you come across any of this kind of bullying, the competitiveness?
No, but I was well aware that people were training really hard. Right. And there's a pitch they get into where they don't want to mess up. It's a very stressful thing. The floor manager's going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. And you're live to 15 million people. Right, and you can't even remember if you're stepping off with your left foot or your right foot.
I'd be so scared.
No, I'd no idea.
Really scared.
I didn't even remember my own name.
I see. But I think that apology was actually very good. I think Tim Davies was excellent. And I think that it's a huge... Look, I come from reality TV. This happens with every reality TV programme. It's this duty of care. Now, the BBC should have known better. They really should have known better. But, you live and learn. It's a huge programme. It's not going to go anywhere. And now they're doing chaperones. I think they've taken the right steps.
And dare I suggest I also come from the history of reality TV.
Of course, The Apprentice.
Where frankly, they didn't have a duty of care.
Did they not?
And I have
picked it up,
and I have talked about various issues which I think are really important, because I guess, look, I think, Jeremy, you put your finger absolutely on it, which is there's the fun side and then there are probably 2 or 3 people and they know that they're in it because they really could win it. And the pros of those 2 or 3 people really also know that it will make a massive difference to their personal profile should they be the winner. And the question is, how do you make sure that people across the board are looked after and treated well? And if you are going to have people on that show who have extra special needs or whatever, I'm afraid you do have to look after them. Yeah. Because you get it wrong, there can be life-changing injuries. I guess the point is...
Well, on that score, let's just have a look, because this is Will Bailey, who's rehearsing a dance, Paralympian, congenital weakness in his ankles, does a jump. Let's see. Now you hear... So he says he's been giving interviews because he's at the Paris Olympics, and good luck to him for that. But he says it's not ruined his career, but it's now a lifelong...
Did he not know that?
Well,
my other problem is...
I know maybe he should have said, I'm not doing that jump. Yeah.
Well, no, contestants, and, I was a contestant, you've got to know, you've got to have a certain expectation of what's going to be coming. They knew that this is going to be rigorous, this is going to be brutal. Surely you know that.
But also,
then why are you complaining afterwards?
But I think the point is that when you have professionals there, and particularly if you have something that people know about, there's always the potential for injuries, whether on this show, and indeed we've seen it on all shows. Yeah. We saw it on the ski jump show, we saw it on Dancing on Ice and all that sort of stuff. There are inherent dangers, and then there are very specific dangers. And I would expect that somebody who has any kind of, known condition before they go on it, if they're of a certain age, putting them under such
hard.
pressure.
It's really, with dancing, it's really hard because you say, I can't do any jumps. That's really hard for the pro to work around. Derek is in Northamptonshire. Hi.
Good morning, everybody.
You going to be watching it, Derek?
Enjoyable programme.
Thank you. You going to watch it?
Well, I haven't really, only watched snippets of it now and again, but I'm not a great fan of the programme, I must admit. But I think that this latest revelation might have a negative effect on its viewing figures. But essentially, my view about dancing as an entertainment programme belongs to a bygone age. In the 1930s, the film industry produced a lot of musical films featuring the likes of Ginger Rogers, Fred Astaire, for example, but they haven't made films involving dancing for years and years and years. The only film I've seen in recent times featuring dancing was a film called The Artist, which had a spectacular
the
dance
silent one.
routine.
Yeah.
Right at the very
Also,
end.
La La Land featured dancing.
Sorry, I have to correct you because that film was not called that. It was called Blah Blah Bland. And Derek, I am with you.
I am. It's so
It's just
boring.
I love
22
this.
years, BBC, come up with
It's
something
boring.
new.
No.
Really, come dancing I find that kind of dancing
Dear.
boring.
Oh,
I'm with Derek.
God, I'd rather
I think it's
eat my
but
own
the
Same.
clue is in the viewing
Same.
figures, right? This is so
I know,
popular.
don't
Derek,
get it.
thank you. I think it might be.
Give them gruel, they'll eat it.
It might get more viewing figures this time. There might be more interest in it. I just don't know. I think I just wonder whether if you're, and I don't know what the pros are thinking, but the idea that they're going to put cameras into all the rehearsals all the time,
Wow.
so they can check that nobody's doing anything. But I think if I was a pro, I'd be thinking that's not really fair on me. You've got to trust them. So this, the thing that started all this was the dance, the Amanda Abington, who, former wife of Martin Freeman, just throw that in, who is dancing with Giovanni Panici. Now, the clearly was horrendous backstage for whatever reason, not judging it. But obviously, front of house, you've got to look as if you're having the time of your life. So all we ever see are these pictures.
Oh, wow.
And and they're kind of...
They look like they're really getting on.
They really do. And this
Yes.
is the bewitching thing is it all a lie, I suppose...
Is what all a lie?
Well, maybe showbiz is always a lie, isn't it?
Okay.
It's always like we're going to pretend to be happier than we are. It's in the nature of it.
But
So,
going back to
Are
the
you saying
cameras...
that your smile when you see Narinder and me isn't genuine?
yeah, no, listen, I'm not
But
going
in
to
fact,
go on. I'm
behind
not going
the
to go on
smile-
air
Well,
and
ours
go,
could be fake as
we haven't
well.
got, we haven't got a show today. We've got a useless panel. And it's just all, we've got no stories. I'm not going to do that, guys. It's, hello, it's the
Do
best
Trump,
show.
do Trump. I want you to do
I'm
Trump.
not going to do Trump. Okay, Paul is in Greater Manchester. Will you be watching Strictly, Paul?
I definitely will be watching it, Jeremy. And I actually know Narinder a little, but I know her on Facebook.
Well, everyone's-
and
Hi,
that.
Paul.
Lovely. Everybody
I
is...
don't recognise your voice.
Yeah, everyone today
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
Narinder, yeah.
Yeah, she knows me a little, but I don't agree with her on this. I would have agreed with her a few years ago that it was old-fashioned, but it's evolved massively now. There's same-sex dancing, there's disabled people,
Yes.
and a lot of the dancing isn't as traditional as it was, so that's been the argument. But no, if anything, this is making me more determined to watch it. I'm starting to think now it's a storm in a teacup. You go to any workplace, be it Morrison's, Tesco's, any workplace, I'm not singling any out, The Apprentice, Big Brother, what your panellists have both been on, there's going to be scandals like this behind the scenes flaws, but what you do
I
is
know,
you
but
work
Paul,
through it.
he kicked someone. Wasn't there some kind of allegation
Graziano
of kicking?
admitted kicking someone.
Yeah.
Paul, do you think
That's pretty bad.
should they ban love affairs between the dancers?
No, I want that. I want to be a contestant to have a love
and the
affair.
pros. Okay, so you're not worried about that.
Narinder.
No.
You'd be a brilliant contestant, Narinder, by the way.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Is
she'd be a
Tim
brilliant
Davey
lover.
watching? If Tim Davey's watching, can I be a
Oh,
contestant?
she'll be brilliant. Paul, go on quickly.
Oh, my God.
You shouldn't ban the love affairs. People are adults, but like I say, you might as well ban everything. We've got this with the Olympics now with this lady horse rider. You've had it with Alex Ferguson and David Beckham with the boot years ago. I actually think, let me say this, I think this is people like Dan Wootton and Carol Malone who hate the BBC. They're jumping on the bandwagon to try and get it axed. And Dan Wootton has actually been nasty about Narinder recently.
we've got
So I'm not
Carol on
happy about
later,
that either.
Paul,
Yeah, Paul, listen, thank you. Thank you.
Paul was really good.
Yeah, interesting things to
So
say,
how much did
actually.
you pay him to say that
We've
stuff?
got to move on. We've got to move on. We'll see if somebody knows Narinder in the next part of the show.